The sleek silver scout ship of the Veloxi Confederation dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Sol system. Commander Zextal watched with 6 eyes as the blue-green planet came into view on the main screen. "Life signs confirmed," chirped the science officer. "Billions of them, and they have primitive space technology, perfect candidates for first contact protocol." Zextal felt a flutter of excitement in his secondary hearts. In 300 years of space exploration, he had never been the first to contact a new species. This would make his career. "Bring us into high orbit," he ordered. "Passive scans, only. Let's not frighten them." On Earth, in the underground command center of Space Force headquarters, alarm bells rang. Captain Alan Miller rushed to the main console where Lieutenant Frank West was frantically typing. "Sir, we have an unidentified object entering Earth orbit. It's not matching any known satellite or debris pattern." Miller frowned. "Russian? Chinese?" "No, sir, it's not one of ours. Not from Earth." Miller stared at the screen, watching the strange object moving with impossible precision. "Send the first contact package, radio, laser, everything we've got." The Veloxi ship received the transmissions, but their computers struggled to decode the unfamiliar formats. "They're sending directed energy at us," reported the tactical officer. "Communication attempts," Zextal said. "Prepare our own greeting. Package. Move closer to improve transmission clarity." Back on Earth, tension rose as the alien ship changed course. "It's descending, sir," West said, voice cracking. "The Russians are tracking it too. They're asking if it's ours." Miller picked up the red phone. "Mr. President, we have a situation. The object is making aggressive movements. Request permission to activate the orbital defense network." In Nebraska, Greg Patterson was checking his corn when his daughter Lily ran out of the farmhouse. "Dad, look!" The 12-year-old pointed at the sky where a strange light was growing brighter. Aboard the Veloxi ship, alarms blared. "Energy weapons powering up on the surface," the tactical officer shouted. "Multiple targeting systems locking on." "Impossible," Zextal said. "They're pre-FTL. They shouldn't have—" The ship rocked violently as the first experimental orbital defense laser struck its hull. "Evasive action," Zextal ordered. "No return fire. This must be a mistake." The scout ship tried to pull away, but 3 more shots hit critical systems. The ship lurched, gravity systems failing. "We're going down," the pilot cried. "Atmosphere entry in 10 seconds." On the farm, Greg grabbed his daughter's hand. "Get behind the tractor, Lily." They watched as the burning object streaked overhead, crashing with a massive boom in the empty field beyond their property line. "Call 911, Greg told his daughter, but his eyes never left the smoking wreckage. Something was moving inside. By the time Greg reached the crash site, 3 spindly figures had emerged from the broken ship. They had 6 limbs each and skin that shifted colors like oil on water. One was clearly injured, green fluid leaking from its torso. Greg raised his hands. "I'm not gonna hurt you." The aliens chittered and clicked, their color patterns flashing rapidly. One raised a small device. Before Greg could react, military helicopters appeared on the horizon. The aliens retreated toward their ship, but the injured one collapsed. Greg moved forward to help, but the other aliens misinterpreted his approach. One fired a bolt of energy that scorched the ground at his feet. "Dad." Lily had followed him. She stood frozen at the edge of the crater. The sound of the helicopters grew louder. The aliens, panicking now, activated something inside their vessel. A high-pitched whine filled the air as a beacon burst to life, sending a signal streaking into space. As military vehicles arrived and soldiers poured out with weapons raised, the aliens surrendered, their skin turning a uniform gray of defeat. One gestured at its fallen comrade, then at Greg, making pleading motions. Dr. Catherine Lee, rushing from the lead helicopter, approached news of the alien crash spread across the globe within hours. People gathered around televisions and phones, watching shaky footage of strange creatures being loaded into military vehicles. Some celebrated, some prayed, and many prepared for the worst. At the White House, President Bill Clark met with his crisis team. The room was tense as military leaders, argued over what to do next. "We need to learn their weaknesses," General Steve Harris said, pounding his fist on the table. Admiral Jane Foster shook her head. "We need to show them we're peaceful. This could be a huge mistake." President Clark turned to a slim woman with tired eyes. "Dr. Lee, you've spent time with them. What do you think?" Dr. Catherine Lee had not slept in 36 hours. She had been working non-stop trying to communicate with the aliens at the secure facility in Nevada where they were being held. "They're scared, Mr. President. They think we attacked them without reason. Their language is complex, but I'm making progress with the translation device we found in their ship." "Can they contact others of their kind?" the President asked. "They already have," Catherine said quietly. "The beacon they activated sent a distress call. They have a fleet, sir, and it's coming." Far beyond Pluto, the Veloxy fleet received the distress signal. Fleet Commander Xandar called his captains together. "Our scouts have been attacked by a primitive species," he told them. "We will rescue our people and teach these savages respect." Back on Earth, the 3 surviving aliens refused to eat. They sat in their special chambers, skin flickering between dark colors. "Please," Catherine said, using their translation device. "We mean no harm." The lead alien, who called himself Second Scout Veltuk, made a sound like breaking glass. "You attacked without warning. You cage us like animals. Your kind is savage and unready for the stars." Catherine tried to explain the misunderstanding, but the aliens would not believe her. That night, the smallest alien tried to escape. It used unknown technology to slip through the containment field. An alarm sounded as it ran down the hallway. Guard Patrick Brown saw the alien coming. "Stop!" he shouted, raising his gun. The alien didn't understand. It raised a device in its third hand. Guard Brown fired. His bullet hit the alien's chest. Green fluid sprayed across the white walls. More guards arrived. The alien fought with surprising strength. 2 guards were thrown against walls. Another had his arm badly burned by the alien's device. When it was over, the alien lay dead on the floor. The other 2 Veloxy felt their companion die through some unknown connection. They began a high-pitched wailing that hurt human ears. Catherine ran to the containment room. "What happened?" she asked the guards. "It killed Sammy and hurt 3 others, a guard said, his voice shaking. Inside their chamber, the 2 remaining aliens had pressed their hands to a small device they had hidden. Before anyone could stop them, they sent a final message to their fleet. "Savages. Unready. Dangerous." Then they swallowed small capsules hidden in their mouthparts. Their bodies stiffened and collapsed. Catherine cried out, but it was too late. Admiral Foster was woken by a red phone call at 3 a.m. "The aliens are dead," President Clark told her. "They killed themselves after sending another message." "God help us," Foster whispered. "I'm putting you in charge of our space defense," the president continued. "The alien fleet will be here in 3 months, according to NASA calculations." "What exactly am I defending with?" Foster asked. "We have nothing that can fight an interstellar fleet." "Then build something," the president said simply. "Because if you don't, this could be the end of our world." In deep space, 12 Veloxy warships changed course for Earth. They were the finest ships in the Confederation, armed with weapons that could melt cities. And their commanders had just received word that their people had been murdered by violent primitives who were not ready for the stars. "Ed, Greg, did you communicate with them?" "No," Greg said, watching as soldiers surrounded the aliens. "But I think there's been a terrible mistake." Catherine nodded grimly. "I think you're right, and something tells me we're all going to pay for it." In now deep space, the distress signal traveled faster than light, racing toward the Veloxy fleet. Earth had made its first alien contact, and it had gone very, very wrong. 3 months passed quickly. Earth's nations, for once united by a common threat, worked day and night to prepare. Old weapons were modified with technology reverse-engineered from the crashed alien ship. Space agencies rushed to outfit vessels. With new defenses, Commander Peter Hayes stood on the bridge of the USS Defender, Earth's first true warship built for space combat. 5 other ships joined his small fleet, positioned in a defensive line between Earth and the expected arrival point of the alien armada. Any sign of them? Hayes asked his sensor officer. Nothing yet, sir, said Officer Maria Wilson, her eyes fixed on the screen. Wait. There's something at the edge of our range. The crew fell silent as dots of light appeared on their displays. First one, then 5, then 12 ships emerged from faster-than-light travel. They're huge, Maria whispered. The alien vessels dwarfed Earth's ships. Each one was at least 5 times larger than the Defender. Open a channel, Hayes ordered. All frequencies, let's try to talk before we fight. The communications officer worked his console. Channel open, sir. Hayes took a deep breath. This is Commander Peter Hayes of Earth Defense Fleet. We wish to resolve our differences peacefully. The attack on your scout ship was a misunderstanding. Please respond. For a long moment, there was silence. Then a voice came through speaking English with strange clicking sounds between words. This is Fleet Commander Xandar of the Veloxi Confederation. You murdered our people after attacking them without cause. Return any survivors and prepare to pay for your crimes. Hayes looked to his second-in-command, Linda Patel. She shook her head slightly. Fleet Commander, Hayes said carefully. There are no survivors. The last 2 took their own lives after an escape attempt resulted in casualties. We deeply regret this outcome and wish to. The communication cut off. On the main screen, the alien ships began to move forward. They're powering weapons, Maria said, her voice rising. All ships are being targeted. Hayes gripped the arms of his command chair. Defensive positions. Do not fire unless fired upon. The Earth fleet spread out, shields at maximum. For a few tense seconds, nothing happened. Then the sky lit up as beams of energy shot from the lead alien ship, striking the smallest Earth vessel. Its shields lasted only seconds before failing. The ship exploded in a ball of fire. Return fire, Hayes ordered. All ships engage. Earth's fleet fought bravely. Their weapons, enhanced with alien technology, managed to damage 2 Veloxi ships. But the battle was hopelessly one-sided. Within 20 minutes, 4 of Earth's 6 ships were destroyed. The Defender's shields were failing, and the last remaining support vessel was badly damaged. Hayes made a difficult choice. All hands abandon ship. Get to the escape pods. He turned to his communications officer. Send one last message to Earth. Tell them to prepare ground defenses. As the crew rushed to evacuate, Hayes stayed at his post. Through the viewscreen, he watched the alien fleet advancing toward Earth. Then something strange happened. The Veloxi ship stopped firing. A message came through. Your species has been evaluated and found wanting. You are too violent and unpredictable for contact with civilized space. This attack was limited to your military vessels only, as required by our laws of engagement. Hayes frowned. You're not attacking Earth? No, the alien commander replied. A quarantine will be established. Your system is now closed to the stars. No ship will be permitted to leave or enter. This is the judgment of the Veloxi Confederation. As Hayes watched from his escape pod, the alien fleet release 5 years passed. Earth had changed. Countries that once fought each other now worked together. The common enemy beyond the stars had united humanity in ways no one thought possible. Dr. Amanda Ross stood in her lab deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Her team of 50 scientists worked around the clock, studying the alien technology, salvaged from the crashed scout ship and debris from the space battle. Try it again, Amanda told her assistant, Paul Garcia. Increase the power by 5%. Paul adjusted some settings on the strange device they had rebuilt. It hummed softly, then projected a hologram showing strange symbols. Yes, Amanda clapped her hands. We've got it working. The device was the Veloxi's communication system. For years they had tried to understand how it worked. Now finally, they had success. Amanda rushed to a secure phone and called her boss. General, we've activated the alien communication system. You need to see this. 2 hours later, General Sam Wilson arrived with a team of military officials. Amanda showed them the working device. We can now read their language, she explained. And we found something interesting. She pointed to a section of the hologram. This is their navigation system. It shows that Earth has been marked with a special designation. General Wilson leaned closer. What does it mean? Earth is officially listed as Threat Class 3, Violent Pre-FTL Species, Do Not Approach in their records. It's like a warning sign posted at our solar system. Meanwhile, across the base, Navy Commander Vincent Carter was training his special unit. 20 men and women in new space combat suits practiced movement in low gravity. Faster, he ordered. The enemy won't wait for you to get your balance. 5 years ago, Carter had been a regular Navy officer. Now he led the Space Tactical Response Team, a unit created to defend Earth if the aliens ever returned. His team trained with weapons created from alien technology and practiced tactics for zero-gravity combat. After training, Carter met with Dr. Ross to discuss her discovery. So we're listed as dangerous in their space Wikipedia, he said, sipping coffee in the cafeteria. Amanda nodded. Basically. But there's more. She lowered her voice. The quarantine buoys they left around our system? They're not just barriers, they're transmitters. They send warnings to any ship that passes nearby. Can we disable them? Carter asked. Not yet. Every probe we've sent to test them has been destroyed. But I've been studying the signals they send. They contain navigation data, warnings, and... She paused, looking excited. Information about a trading hub near Alpha Centauri. Carter set down his cup. A trading hub with other alien species? Many of them, Amanda confirmed. It seems the galaxy is full of intelligent life, and they all meet at these hubs to trade and share information. But we can't get there, Carter said, frustrated. The buoys stop anything larger than a probe from leaving the system. Maybe not forever, Amanda said with a smile. I have an idea. That night, Amanda worked late in her lab. She had discovered something in the alien data. The quarantine buoys had a maintenance cycle. Once every 6 months, they briefly powered down to recalibrate. The window was tiny, only 2 minutes, but it might be enough for a fast ship with the right technology. Amanda sent a message requesting a meeting with the president. It was time for humanity to break out of its cage. On the edge of the solar system, the silent buoys continued their endless patrol. Each was programmed with the same message, broadcasting to any passing ships. Warning: Sol system contains dangerous primitive species. Earth officially listed as Do Not Approach in Galactic Archives. Violent pre-FTL civilization quarantined. By order of the Galactic Council. Proceed with extreme caution. Little did they know that the primitive species was already planning its escape. Had small devices that took up positions around Earth's orbit. Then, having delivered their sentence, the massive ships turned and disappeared back into faster-than-light travel. On Earth, governments received the message with a mixture of relief and dismay. They had survived. But at what cost? The stars, so recently within reach, were now forbidden. Humanity was grounded, imprisoned in its own solar system by a technology they couldn't hope to overcome. President Clark addressed a frightened world that night. We have been judged, he said solemnly. But this is not the end. This is a challenge, and humanity has never backed down from a challenge. President Susan Maxwell studied the faces around the oval table. The most brilliant minds on Earth had gathered to discuss Dr. Ross's plan. You want to capture one of the alien boys? The president asked. Amanda nodded. We need to study a complete one. The fragments we have aren't enough. Commander Carter leaned forward. My team can do it. We've been training for space operations for years. General Wilson frowned. The last 3 probes that approached a buoy were destroyed instantly. That's why we need stealth technology, Amanda explained. She pressed a button and a hologram appeared showing a small ship. This is the Ghost. We built it using materials that absorb radar and other detection methods. It also incorporates the cloaking tech we reverse-engineered from the Veloxy scout ship. The president looked impressed. Will it work? Only one way to find out, Carter said. 2 weeks later, the Ghost launched from Earth's new space dock. Commander. Carter led a team of 6 specialists, including Dr. Ross. Their mission: capture a buoy and bring it back intact. The Ghost moved silently through space, its engines modified to leave minimal heat signatures. As they approached the edge of the solar system, they spotted their target, a floating metal sphere about the size of a small car. "Stealth systems at maximum," Carter ordered. "Weapons hot, just in case." Amanda watched nervously as they crept closer to the buoy. The alien device showed no sign that it detected them. "Now," Carter said. The Ghost extended a capture arm. Slowly, carefully, it wrapped around the buoy. Everyone held their breath, waiting for the device to fight back. Nothing happened. "We've got it," the pilot said, hardly believing their luck. They carefully pulled the buoy into the ship's cargo hold and sealed it in a containment field. Then they turned around and headed home at full speed. Back on Earth, scientists swarmed around the captured buoy. Amanda led the research team that worked day and night to understand its secrets. After 3 weeks, she presented her findings to the president. "The buoy contains translation matrices for thousands of alien languages," she explained. "It also has detailed maps of nearby space and information about all registered species." "Can we use it to communicate with other aliens?" the president asked. "Better than that," Amanda said, smiling. "We can use it to build our own FTL drive." The room burst into excited conversation. Faster-than-light travel had been theoretical, until now. "There's more," Amanda continued when the noise died down. "The trading hub near Alpha Centauri is a neutral zone. Even quarantined species can request asylum there if they can reach it." President Maxwell stood up. "Then that's our goal. We'll build a ship with this FTL technology and send a diplomatic mission to the hub." Not everyone agreed with the plan. Military leaders wanted to build weapons instead. Some scientists worried about provoking the aliens again. But in the end, the president made her decision. "We've been trapped in our solar system for 5 years," she said firmly. "It's time to rejoin the galactic community. Properly this time." Construction began on a new ship called the Olive Branch. It would be Earth's first true starship, designed for diplomacy rather than war. The best scientists, diplomats, and security personnel were selected for the mission. Commander Carter would lead the security team. Dr. Rowe the Olive Branch slipped through the quarantine during the brief maintenance window, just as Amanda had predicted. Its experimental FTL drive activated moments later, and Earth vanished from view. The 20 crew members felt the strange sensation of faster-than-light travel for the first time. Some got sick. Others stared in wonder at the blur of stars outside. 3 days later, they arrived at Alpha Centauri. The sight that greeted them left everyone speechless. A massive space station floated near the star. It was shaped like a wheel with spokes leading to a central hub. Thousands of lights sparkled along its surface. Ships of all shapes and sizes moved around it like bees around a hive. "It's beautiful," Amanda whispered. Diplomat Benjamin Cole straightened, his jacket. "Remember the plan. We're here to request a hearing with the Galactic Council. We need to present our case peacefully." The Olive Branch approached the station slowly. Suddenly, alarm bells rang throughout the ship. "We're being scanned," the pilot said nervously. A voice came through their communication system, speaking perfect English. "Unregistered vessel, identify yourself immediately." Cole took a deep breath and answered, "This is the Earth ship Olive Branch. We come in peace and request permission to dock." There was a long pause. Then, "Earth vessel? Earth is under quarantine. How did you breach containment?" "We wish to explain that to the proper authorities," Cole replied. "We seek a diplomatic meeting." Another pause. "Remain in position. Do not attempt to approach further." 4 small ships detached from the station and surrounded the Olive Branch. They looked like metal insects with glowing blue engines. "Security vessels," Carter said, tensing. "Should I ready weapons?" Cole shook his head. "No. We came to talk, not fight." The security ships escorted them to a docking bay far from the main areas of the station. As soon as they docked, the bay was sealed behind them. When the crew stepped out of their ship, they got their first close look at alien life. The security team consisted of tall, thin beings with 4 arms and skin that shimmered like metal. They wore no obvious weapons but moved with clear authority. "You will follow," one of them said in English. "No devices, no weapons." Carter reluctantly left his sidearm behind. The humans were led through empty corridors to a plain room with a large table. They waited for an hour before the door opened again. A being entered who looked nothing like the security team. This one had green skin covered in fine scales and large, intelligent eyes. It wore elaborate robes marked with symbols. "I am Station Administrator Kluxin," it said. "Your presence here is highly irregular. Quarantined species are not permitted to leave their systems." Cole stepped forward. "We understand, Administrator, but we believe our quarantine was based on a misunderstanding. We request the opportunity to present our case." Kluxin's eyes narrowed. "The Veloxi do not make mistakes in their assessments. They are founding members of the Galactic Council." "With respect," Amanda interjected, "the incident was a tragic error on both sides. We've spent 5 years studying their technology and culture. We believe we can prove we're ready for peaceful contact." Kluxin seemed ready to refuse when alarms began blaring throughout the station. The administrator touched a device on its wrist. "What is happening?" Cole asked. "A ship has docked without authorization," Kluxin said, clearly troubled. "The Veloxi diplomatic vessel has just arrived. They detected your ship." Carter moved closer to his team, ready for trouble. "What does that mean for us?" "It means," Kluxin said grimly, "that the species who ordered your quarantine now knows you've broken it. They will demand your immediate return to Earth and additional penalties." Cole didn't back down. "We still request a hearing. It's our right under council law to present our case." Kluxin studied the humans for a long moment. "Very well. You will have one chance to speak before the station's ruling council. But I must warn you, the Veloxi representatives will be there, and they hold considerable influence." As the administrator left, Cole turned to his team. "This is what we came for. One chance to change our fate." Outside the room, voices raised in anger. The Veloxi had arrived, and they were not happy to find humans on the station. S would head the scientific contingent, and Benjamin Cole, Earth's most respected diplomat, would lead negotiations. As the olive branch neared completion, Amanda refined her plan to slip past the quarantine. The buoys would enter their maintenance cycle in exactly 28 days. They would have a 2-minute window to escape. "If we miss it," she told Carter as they inspected the ship, "the next chance won't come for 6 months." Carter nodded. "Then we won't miss it." Earth held its breath as launch day approached. For the first time in 5 years, humanity prepared to reach for the stars, whether the galaxy wanted them or not. The hearing room was large and circular, with seats rising in tiers like an ancient theater. Representatives from a dozen alien species sat watching as the humans entered. At the center was a raised platform where Administrator Kluxin stood with 6 other aliens of different species. Cole led the human delegation forward. Carter and his security team followed, alert for any threats. Amanda carried data tablets containing their evidence. On the opposite side of the room, a group of aliens, with 6 limbs and shimmering skin, entered. The humans recognized them immediately as Veloxi. "Those responsible for the quarantine," Amanda whispered. Kluxin raised all 4 of his arms. "This emergency council is now in session. We have an unprecedented situation. Humans from Earth have breached their quarantine to request a formal hearing." A tall Veloxi stepped forward, skin flashing angry red patterns. "This is an outrage. These primitives attacked our scout ship without provocation, murdered our people, and now violate the quarantine. They should be returned to their system immediately with increased restrictions." "Ambassador Zextal," Kluxin acknowledged. "Your concerns are noted. However, all species have the right to petition this council, even those under quarantine." Cole stepped forward. "Thank you, Administrator. We come in peace, seeking understanding. The incident 5 years ago was a tragic misunderstanding on both sides." As Cole began explaining Earth's case, alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. A voice spoke in several languages over the communication system. "Alert! Unidentified. Vessels approaching at high velocity. All security personnel to defense stations." The council erupted in confusion. Clixin touched a device on his wrist, then looked up with alarm. 5 warships have entered the system. They're not responding to hails and are on an attack vector. The Veloxy ambassador turned to the humans. Is this your doing? A distraction? Before Cole could answer, the station shook violently. Lights flickered as a distant explosion sounded. We're under attack, someone shouted. Carter moved quickly to Cole's side. We need to get back to our ship. Clixin was receiving reports through his communication device. The attackers are drachnids. They've breached the outer docking ring. Amanda gasped. Drachnids? A conquering species, Clixin explained grimly. They expand their territory by force. Another explosion rocked the station closer this time. Panels fell from the ceiling. Several council members rushed for the exits. The station's defenses are failing, Clixin announced. All non-military personnel should evacuate to safe zones. As aliens rushed from the room, Carter noticed the Veloxy ambassador looking at a small child of his species who had become separated from the other Veloxy. The child was trapped under a fallen beam, and more debris was coming down. Without hesitation, Carter sprinted across the room. He reached the child just as a large panel broke free from above. Carter shielded the young Veloxy with his body as the panel crashed down on his back. Groaning with pain, Carter lifted the beam, trapping the child. The young Veloxy scrambled free and ran to Ambassador Zextal, who watched with obvious surprise. Amanda rushed to help Carter. Are you hurt? I'll live, he said, wincing as he stood. What matters is the kid's safe. The station shook again. Through the windows they could see enemy ships firing on the station's outer rings. We need to help, Carter told Cole. My team has combat training. Cole nodded. Administrator, we offer our assistance in defending the station. Clixin looked skeptical. What can 6 humans do against Drachnid warriors? We may surprise you, Carter said. Where are they boarding? Clixin shared the information, and Carter's team prepared to move out. Amanda approached him. I'm coming, too. I can hack in. 2 days after the attack began, the battle for the station was over. The Drachnids had been driven back, their ships retreating into deep space. The cost had been high, parts of the station were heavily damaged, and many lives were lost. But it could have been much worse. In the main council chamber, a special emergency session was called. Representatives from all the major species attended, including a bandaged but standing Commander Carter and his team. Administrator Clixin addressed the gathered aliens. This council extends its deepest gratitude to our unexpected allies from Earth. Without their assistance, we might have lost the station entirely. There were murmurs of agreement throughout the room. Even some of the Veloxy nodded. Amanda stepped forward, her arm in a sling from an injury sustained while hacking the Drachnid communications. We only did what anyone would do when faced with a common enemy. Not anyone, Ambassador Zextal said, rising from his seat. Many species would have used the chaos to escape or to bargain for their freedom. Instead, you fought to protect us, the very ones who imprisoned your kind. Cole saw an opportunity. We came here seeking understanding. The Drachnid attack simply gave us a chance to show rather than tell. A new figure entered the chamber. A tall, distinguished alien with gleaming scales and elaborate ceremonial armor. All the aliens bowed slightly as it passed. High Counselor Venra, Clixin announced. We are honored by your presence. The High Counselor surveyed the room, eyes finally resting on the humans. I have reviewed the reports of the Earth species' actions during the attack. Most interesting. High Counselor, Zextal said, in light of recent events, the Veloxy Confederation requests a formal reassessment of Earth's quarantine status. A shocked silence fell over the room. The main advocates for Earth's isolation were now speaking for them. The High Counselor tilted its head. Explain. The humans fought with unusual tactics that confused the Drachnids. Their unpredictability in battle, the very trait we feared, proved invaluable. Zextal glanced at Carter. And they showed courage and compassion, even toward those who had wronged them. Amanda stepped forward with her data tablet. We've also obtained intelligence from the Drachnid communications. They're planning expansion into multiple systems, including Earth. They specifically targeted us because our quarantine status makes us isolated and vulnerable. The High Counselor considered this information. What are you proposing, Ambassador? A modified classification, Zextal replied. Earth should be reclassified as Threat Class 3R Combat-Capable Developing Species, Approach with Caution. This would allow monitored contact and trade while acknowledging their unique qualities. Cole could hardly believe what he was hearing. The Veloxi were advocating for Earth. The High Counselor addressed the human delegation directly. Your species is unusual. In just 5 years, you breached a quarantine that was designed to contain you for centuries. You reverse-engineered technology that should have been beyond your understanding. And when faced with those who imprisoned you chose to protect rather than avenge. The council chamber was silent as everyone awaited the decision. The quarantine is lifted, the High Counselor announced. Earth will be reclassified as Ambassador Zextal suggested. A monitoring station will be established in your system, and technological exchange will be permitted under supervision. Cole stepped forward and bowed. Thank you, High Counselor. Earth looks forward to peaceful relations with the galactic community. As the session concluded, Zextal approached Carter. The child you saved was my grandchild. I cannot repay such a debt. Carter smiled. No debt. Just neighbors helping neighbors. 1 month later, Captain Alan Miller stood on the bridge of a new ship. It was unlike anything humans had built before, a joint project combining Earth and alien technology. Beside him stood Zextal, now Earth's liaison to the Galactic Council. Captain, said a crew member, we're receiving a distress call from the Veloxi colony in the Proxima system. Drachnid ships approaching. Miller nodded. Set course immediately. As the ship prepared to jump to FTL, Miller glanced at the new designation, glowing on his console. Earth. Approach with caution, preferably armed, but approach all the same. Oh, their communication systems if I can access a terminal. Ambassador Zextal stepped forward, still holding the child he had nearly lost. I will provide you with station security codes. Perhaps I judged your species too quickly. As they hurried from the council chamber, they intercepted a transmission from the attacking ships. The message was clear. The Drachnids had specifically targeted this station after learning about the quarantined violent species in a nearby system. Earth was already on their list of future conquest targets.